Hi, here is my Module 3 recording of the interview of an administrator, a special education teacher, and a para. I want to start by saying that I really enjoyed doing this presentation. I have talked to the special ed teacher and the paras and the administration a lot, but never actually asked specific questions about special education. And I was really surprised about some of the answers I got. So the first question was, describe your role in the child find procedures. Um, I started with my special ed teacher. Her name is Marianne Warner, and she's an amazing special ed teacher. I have never met someone that does a job as good as she does. Um, she said that when it comes to the child find procedures, she is on several different state teams, and the autism team specifically is what she mentioned because we have an autistic kid in our school, and she's done a lot to help him get identified and things like that. And so she works on the state level with autism, and then she does all of the basic screenings for learning development and behaviors. The administrator did not do a ton with the child find. We do our special ed program through a co-op, and they do a good job of doing this child find procedures. They screen 2 to 3 year olds and get them in different programs before preschool even starts. My parent wasn't even sure what the program was. The next question was, what is the most challenging part of your role in regards to special education and why? The administrator said that her hardest part was getting the services that are needed for the students and then having to go through the co-op and not being able to just do it ourselves. And as a teacher, I've noticed that can be frustrating. I might have an idea or think I have a solution to a problem, but unless I go through the co-op, I can't just do something for the child. The special education teacher said that diverse needs between the behavior and academic needs, and then finding balance with the students and finding the space to do what needs done. We have one particular student that takes up the whole special education classroom. It was a autistic kid, and he blurts and can't control what he says all the time. And so then that totally takes out the whole classroom for any other child that might need to be pulled out for services. So it's hard for us to find the space to help those kids that need it. And then the parents said dealing with all the different behaviors, and then our special ed kids tend to be really addicted to their technology, and just getting them away from it seems to be kind of a challenge for her. The most rewarding part of the job. Now, this one had almost the same exact answer all the way through. It was seeing the kids succeed and having their success. The administrator said it's easier for her to see the growth because she's not really in the trenches with the kids. She can walk in from week to week and see the differences since she's not there every day. Mrs. Warner, the special teacher, said seeing success with the kids and then getting support from teachers, which she mentioned that she loves working here because I feel like, and she did too, the teachers work really well with her to make sure that the kids need to be doing what they're doing. And then the para, when your student catches on and are so proud of themselves for catching on. The advice. Now, this is probably my favorite question, and I got some really good answers for it about how they supervise or would supervise staff. The administrator says it has to be a collaborative effort. So since we do work with the co-op, the co-op doesn't ever come in and do evaluations, and so it's kind of on the hands of the teachers and the administrators to help supervise everybody together, and kind of like a hold yourself accountable thing, which it can be good and bad. And then she also mentioned that it's no different than supervision of other staff members. It's the same high expectations for teachers, for paras, for anyone involved in the special education program. The teacher thought that paras should have more training when dealing with behavior students. I would agree with that. I don't think, and it's not the para's fault. I think it's the city of Kansas's fault for not offering enough training. But she would like to have more training and let them go to more training. And then she thought there should be evaluations, formal evaluations on how the paras do. And then the para said that she would like feedback on how she's doing her job. How do you work effectively with parents? This one was almost the same all the way across too, besides my para. My administrator and teacher agreed on this. Communication, it's key. And the administration said that they kind of count on the teachers to do most of the administration, or most of the communication, excuse me, because as a teacher, it is our job to talk to the parents, tell them if there was a good day or a bad day. Every single one of our special education students is on some type of plan where a note gets sent home every day, whether it's, they got 5 out of 5 stars, they got 3 pluses and 1 minus. We have different plans, and every day they take a folder home, and the parent's supposed to look at it to see how exactly the kid did. And I think that's neat. Like I said, the administration relies a lot on teachers to have the positive communication. Teacher says continual communication in the para. And I didn't know this. The paras aren't supposed to speak with the parents. They just send information to the teachers. I guess I didn't realize that the paras could not speak with parents. I also enjoyed this question, advice for a first-year administrator. The administration said, learn about the law, and she kind of drilled me on this. Learn about it and keep it close. It's way different than regular ed, especially when it comes to discipline. My administration was telling me that there's a rule where you cannot suspend kids for more than 10 days without like a written court order or something like that, and I had no idea. You kind of just assume if a kid's being bad, they get suspended, and if it's been more than 10 days, oh well. But when they're on an IEP, I guess that's not the law. So that's part of the reason I'm really excited for this class, so I can help learn my law a little bit better. The teacher says don't lose track of the progress that special ed kids are making. Check in, be around, be an open door for me to come look in, things like that. And then the para's answer was my favorite. She said, have open eyes and an open mind. You might be an administrator, but paras have usually been in the building longer than most teachers, and they know what they're doing. That one made me laugh a little bit. How do you describe the role? And when I asked this question, I asked each one, how would you describe your role? How would you describe the principal's role? And how would you describe the teacher's role? And so the administration said that it's my role to help the teachers decide the best plan of action. I'll give advice, but it's not really my job to write the action plan or to perform the action plan. The teachers know best, and then the para's job is to help implement that, and the teacher of the regular education classroom is to communicate with the special education teacher. And I thought that was a good advice. As administration, it's kind of nice to know that we have the reins to do what we think we need to do with our kids. The teacher said that it's the principal's job to facilitate the learning of the kids who struggle in the typical environment, but it's her job to make sure they're actually learning and write that action plan to help them learn. And then this pretty much summed it up. The para said, principals oversee the long term, teachers do the hard day-to-day work, and I'm just here to do what needs done. How do you work with the regular education teachers? And this was the same answer pretty much all the way through. Constant communication. The administrator, constant communication, and then she said that she lets the teachers do what they think is best. The teacher said it's critical to agree on an action plan, otherwise it's not going to work. If she has one idea that she thinks is going to work and the teacher does something different, first of all, the student loses, and second of all, it's never going to work. And then the para said she just does what she's told, and if she doesn't agree, she might offer a suggestion, but it's really not her call to change an action plan. And so to work effectively, she just kind of does what she's told. And I love every para that comes to my room because they really do a good job. If I have something for them to do, they get on it and they do a nice job, and they always have great suggestions for me. What characteristics do you seek in an aspiring administrator? And this one, I was surprised. I had compassionate for 2 answers. Well, not really surprised, but I had noticed I had compassionate for 2 answers, especially for those students. And then I liked what my administration said. Recognize the disability, but don't lower your expectations for the kids. Understand that they might have a disability, but you need to expect the same out of them as you would anybody else, but be compassionate towards it. And then the teacher said good insight to character and strong leadership skills, willingness to work with the kids and be involved. And then the para said compassionate, caring, willing to listen to every team member. I believe that is all my questions. Kind of to tie it all together, I did notice a trend for all of this, and I thought the biggest trend was that communication was mentioned several times between the administration, the teacher, and the para. For every question, they somehow worked communication into the answer, because it is so important that the paras, teachers, administration, classroom teacher, special ed teacher, all work together to do it. And I was thinking, when I'm an administrator, what are some of the things that I want to be able to do when it comes to special education? And I think that it's always really cool when you see a principal or a superintendent in the special education room with the kid, talking to them, asking how their day's been, things like that, because you don't always get that. And I'm blessed to be at a school where we do have an administration that checks in and cares about how you're doing. And that means a lot to me, because there's so many things they could be doing that aren't that. But the fact that they make time to come in and, see the kids, and then after hearing from the parents and the teachers that that's something they appreciate, I think as an administrator, I'll try and do a really good job of just being there for my special education teachers and for those students that need the extra help. Thank you.